Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into something super interesting in my opinion, which is how Orangetheory Fitness's strength training classes have evolved over the years. So let's get into it. If you've been following Orangetheory for a while, then you probably remember Lift 45, a class that was all about strength training and no cardio. And this came out a few years ago, but then it disappeared. And now they replaced it with something called Strength 50. So today I'm gonna give you the full story, when Lift 45 came out, why it was so hard to find, what happens in these classes, and whether or not Strength 50 and Lift 45 are really that different. Before we even get into the full history, I want to share a little bit about my personal experience taking Lift 45, because let me tell you, it was not easy to find this class. When Lift 45 first launched, I was so excited to try it because I honestly love strength training, so I thought this class was going to be perfect. So when I first found out that it launched, I was, waiting for it to show up at any of my studios and kept checking the schedules, and it didn't come out for quite some time. Eventually, when they did come out on the schedule, they were listed at really inconvenient times. Like, I just couldn't really take them. But rewind a little bit, before they were even available on the schedules near me at those inconvenient times, they weren't available at all. So I actually drove all the way from Philadelphia to Delaware just to take a Lift 45 class. If that doesn't show how dedicated I was, I don't know what does. I sometimes wonder if it's embarrassing or dedication. I don't really know how to look at it. I just really wanted to experience it for myself, and I filmed a whole YouTube video about it, so I will link that in the description below if you want to check it out and see my little vlog that I made from my Lift 45 experience. That was like one of the only classes, or very few, that I got to take. I took a few other ones, but I had to drive to New Jersey, so it was just not easy for me to find these. Okay, so what exactly is Lift 45? For anyone who doesn't know, this is a class that Orangetheory launched in 2021 to try to help a response they were getting from the members, which was that they wanted a more strength-focused type of class, or just more strength elements in general. In a typical Orangetheory class, you're usually switching between the rower, the treadmill, the floor, so, it is pretty cardio-based. There isn't a lot of time to just focus on strength training and hypertrophy. The strength training session is kind of squeezed in between the cardio intervals. But Lift 45 changed that by being just a pure strength training workout. No rowers, no treadmills, just strength training for 45 minutes. These classes were broken into different focuses. So there would be an upper body day, a lower body day, and then a full body day. So depending on which class you were taking, you were obviously just doing your upper body, or you were doing your legs and your glutes, or you were kind of hitting all of the muscle groups. Now, I personally loved this whole idea because I felt like it was an opportunity for people to really push themselves on the strength training floor without having to worry about saving their energy for an all-out on the treadmill, or, the rowing portion, or vice versa. If someone started on the treadmill and they were running all out, they just ran over 2 miles, you're just going to be so much more tired when it comes to lifting weights. And when you're tired, it's harder to push yourself, and you're probably not going to pick those heavier weights because you're just struggling, or, trying to keep going at that point. You're not gonna reach for those heavier weights, whereas when you have the fresh energy and you're not saving energy, you can just focus on lifting heavy. So the $1 million question: why wasn't Lift 45 widely available at all of the studios? It's because Orangetheory is very structured, especially with their routine and their classes. And this Lift 45 class didn't utilize any of the rowers, any of the treadmills, so they actually had to move around a lot of those items in the studio. Some of them would completely put away the rowers because they have to have the whole floor cleared out. That's a process, and it takes a lot of manpower. So the front desk people, the coaches, they have to focus on moving all of these equipment pieces just to set up for this one class, and then they have to move it all back. And while they're doing that, they can't really focus on the other tasks that they would typically be doing during that time that they wouldn't be moving all that equipment around. Does that make sense? So the regular classes always took priority as well, because that is the main focus of Orangetheory. That format is Orangetheory. Orangetheory wasn't created to just be a strength only class. So because of that, those regular classes that use the rowers and the treadmills, they take priority. And so it's just kind of hard to fit that lifting class into the schedule. Essentially, that was the main hiccup. So a lot of members, including myself, noticed that studios barely offered Lift 45 classes unless you had a job where you just could leave in the middle of the day and maybe go on your lunch break. That would be good for you, but that doesn't really work for everyone. Fast forward to September 2023 and Orangetheory officially made a change. Lift 45 was officially gone and they introduced Strength 50 in its place. Now, at first glance, Strength 50 sounds a lot like Lift 45. You know, what's the big difference aside from that 5-minute change? Which, hey, I'm not mad about. It's a strength-focused class, no cardio, just weights. So why did they make this switch, specifically in the name? According to Orangetheory, Strength 50 is an evolution of Lift 45. The main difference between Lift 45 and Strength 50 is that Strength 50 has a more structured approach. The classes are still broken out into the different categories, like you'll have upper body days, lower body days, and total body days. You'll go through multiple strength-based exercises, you know, using the dumbbells, the TRX straps, benches, even some body weight exercises. And the goal is to build muscular strength and endurance while keeping proper form. I personally haven't had a chance to take the Strength 50 class yet, but it is something that I am looking into, and I don't know, I'm thinking about joining and getting back into it. I've been up in the air, so, you know, we'll see what happens. So one of the things that makes Orangetheory unique is their focus on the heart rate-based interval training. So you might think to yourself, how is that going to fit into everything going on with these strength training classes? You know, a lot of people associate your high heart rate being with running sprints or rowing a lot, but believe it or not, you can also get your heart rate up into the red and orange zone simply from lifting heavy weights. I know, it sounds crazy, but it is possible and it's amazing. And even though Orangetheory is very well known for its cardio-based workouts, strength training is still very important, even to help with supporting your cardio. Lifting weights helps you build that lean muscle mass, it will help you prevent injury, and it'll even help you with your endurance, which you use when you are doing that cardio at work. So that is why Strength 50 was introduced, to help give members a chance to work on their strength training with the guidance of the coaches that they already have these great relationships with, and it'll just assist them in improving in general with their fitness and in the Orangetheory classes that they're taking. When you get to the class, your coach will go over the workout for the day. You might even be broken up into pairs or little small groups that are gonna rotate at these different stations. So at first you're gonna warm up for about 5 minutes, do some light mobility movement, stretching, things like that. Get yourself ready to start doing some strength training and kind of help prevent some injury by warming up. So then it's broken out into 2 15-20 minute long blocks. Block 1 is a focus of compound and isolation movements. You're using dumbbells, the TRX straps. And then block 2 is a second round of strength training, but it's just focusing on different movement patterns. And then at the end, there's gonna be a 5-minute finisher. It's usually like a little core burnout. So since there's no cardio component, focus is on controlled and intentional correct movements. And you'll definitely be encouraged to lift heavier in these types of classes than you would in a regular Orangetheory class, because, you know, that is purpose, you know, trying to lift heavier. Now, if you're new to strength training, you might be thinking, is Strength 50 something I can take? And yes, I wholeheartedly say that Orangetheory really finds a way to make everything something everyone can do. You know, there's different modifications, things like that. They know what they're doing. The coaches are there to help you. So do not think that you can't take this class if you've never done strength training before. That is just not the case. Strength 50 is, if anything, one of the best places to start if you've never done strength training, because you're gonna learn so much. Whether you're new to lifting or you've been doing it for years, this class is really structured to allow you to push yourself at your own level. You know, you can go lower with the weights and just focus on getting that form right, or you can choose the heavier weights and really push yourself. Plus, the coaches are there to guide you the whole time, so if you're ever unsure with your form, they're right there and you can just ask them. So how does Strength 50 compare to just going to the gym on your own? I mean, there's definitely some similarities and differences. With Strength 50, you have that structured programming, you have that coach there to help check your form, you've got that group motivation. It's also time efficient, it's only 50 minutes long. But I would say some of the cons is there's less flexibility, there's limited availability, and there's not so much of a way to track your progression the same way like if you were just going to the gym and sticking to the same strength training program time and time again. Before I wrap it up, I do want to talk a little bit more on some more differences, because like I have said before, it's really hard to see how there's much of a difference. So I'm gonna go a little bit back into that, and I'm gonna start out by saying the programming for Lift 45 apparently varied from studio to studio. Well, the Strength 50 classes have much more of a standardized programming that is going to be the same for all studios throughout. Each week offers a set of standardized templates that repeat at the later half of the month, and this just ensures that there's like a consistent experience throughout all the locations. Lift 45 was just focused around traditional strength training and kind of lacked an approach, whereas Strength 50 emphasizes on compound and functional movement that engage multiple muscle groups and joints. Also, the equipment use is a little bit different. The Lift 45 classes focus strictly on just free weights, whereas the Strength 50 classes are incorporating those TRX straps along with dumbbells and, you know, medicine balls, the steppers, things like that. Another thing is that the Lift 45 class, it didn't really have much of a high intensity training type of component to it. So a lot of people really weren't getting their heart rates up that much. Whereas now with the Strength 50 classes, they have these exercises still being strength based, focusing on a way that they can still get that high intensity interval training in. All right guys, so that was a deep dive into Lift 45 and now Strength 50 that has just come about. I cannot wait to try to take the Strength 50 class. I've got to figure that out one way or another, so if I do, I'll definitely vlog my experience, and I will link my Lift 45 video below if you guys want to check that out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.